For many people, including me, taking photos preserves memories. And those photographic memories are some of the most important things that we own. Because of that, it's extremely important that we back up our photos. And we'll talk about multiple ways to do that today on Tuesday Tech Training. Hello and welcome to Tuesday Tech Training. My name is Jennifer Stewart and I am the owner of Gateway Productivity and I'm a digital productivity trainer. Today we're going to cover all the different kinds of backups. Now I guess that's not all of them that exist, but we will talk about 3 types in particular. The first one will be services, backup services. The second one will be cloud services, and I'll explain all of these as we go. And then the third one will be physical backups. First, we'll talk about backup services. These are typically websites that you sign up for a paid membership, and it will connect to your computer and it will back up, which a backup is basically keeping a copy of, that's what backup means, will back up the things on your computer that you designate. And oftentimes it has everything defaulted to what you would need, but you can always go in there and make customizations. 2 of the most popular backup services are Carbonite, which is at carbonite.com, and then the other one is Backblaze, which is at backblaze.com. And I'll put all of these links in the notes below the video. So again, these are places where you can sign up with them and you pay for typically an annual membership with them, and then they back up your computer automatically through the internet. So when you're not connected to the internet, these services will not be working. So just keep that in mind. Another backup option is using a cloud. And what this means is there is a company who has space on the internet where they hold on to your photos for you as a backup of what you may hold yourself, or in some cases, depending on your space, you may choose to just keep them in the cloud. However, I would say most of the time with a backup, you want at least 2 or 3 places that your photos are being kept. Now, this doesn't have to be 2 or 3 backups. This can be keeping some on your phone, keeping them also on your computer, and then also having a backup. There's all different kinds of combinations. So a cloud, again, is internet-based and it's through a company, and I'll show you a few of those options. One of the most popular cloud options for backing up is iCloud. And the reason for this is it's typically tied to everyone's iPhone. And so it's automatically turned on there to make sure that your photos are backed up to a certain point. And then when you run out of space, they offer for you to buy more space. And that's where you have to decide if it is worth it to you to just keep paying for that, or if you would like to move them off of iCloud and maybe onto an external hard drive and store them separately. The backup idea is that it's making a copy of what's on your phone in this case, and you can also do what's on your computer. It's making a copy so that you can preserve your memories. You can think of it like memory insurance. Another popular cloud option is OneDrive. This is the one that's tied to Microsoft. And if you have a Microsoft Windows computer, you most likely already have OneDrive. So you can choose to back up your photos in OneDrive. Sometimes it's actually automatic on your computer. For almost all of these cloud options, you'll have the choice to also keep things on your computer, and that's where OneDrive ties in pretty well, because OneDrive usually lives on your computer first, and then you can choose to put things into it and sync it to the cloud online. What we're looking at is the online version right now, and now I'll show you what it looks like on the computer. Since OneDrive is Microsoft based, most of the time this won't be available on a Mac. There are exceptions to this rule, but I'll show you it from a PC standpoint because that's typically how you'll be accessing it. So you'll go to this lower left corner to the folder icon, and then it'll bring you up to what's called Windows Explorer. And on the left-hand side, you can see my OneDrive over here. It's the little cloud on the left-hand side. And this is how it will work if you decide to download the folder for your cloud backup. That can work for iCloud. You can choose to do it there. You can choose to do it for OneDrive. We'll talk in a second about Dropbox. And then there's lots of others. You can see I also have Amazon on here as well. So there's lots and lots of cloud backup options, and almost all of them allow you to also keep the folder that syncs to the cloud online on your computer. And so that way you can have them on your computer and in the cloud. So that's two of the three places that you might want to keep your photos, just to make sure that you have some copy of them if something happens to your computer or if something happens to that cloud option. As you saw in my folder, there is also Dropbox. It is an independent company, so it's not Apple, it's not Microsoft, it's its own company. And here you can see we're at their website. So that's another place where you could choose to get a cloud, and then you could either choose to just keep your photos on that cloud as a backup, or you can also keep them on your computer, so you have two different places that they're being held. Another cloud option that I want to point out to you is Forever.com. They are specifically focused on backing up your photos, where all the other ones, they might do photos, but then they do other things as well. Forever.com is specifically photos, and so they have the cloud storage piece, but then you can also make things from your photos using the pictures in your cloud storage. Forever.com does have a very nice guarantee that they will guarantee the safety of your photos for 100 years, I believe. And that goes through a couple generations of people. You can pass your account on to the future generations. So if that's something that appeals to you, you might look into Forever.com. The final type of backup I'd like to talk to you about is a physical backup, and that's exactly what it sounds like. You physically hold it in your hand. They are things like the external hard drive that you see right here, or they might be flash drives or CDs. I don't recommend CDs as much anymore because they do go corrupt quickly and they're not made as frequently now, but the flash drives are still a viable option. Most people have gone to the external hard drives just because they hold so much and they've gotten very affordable these days. The way a physical backup typically works is that you will plug it into your computer and then you choose what you would like to put copies of onto the hard drive. Now, they do have hard drives out there right now that have software built into them. And what that means is once you plug it into your computer, it will start to look for the pictures or the files. It'll look for everything that you would typically back up, and it will ask you, do you want to back these things up? Sometimes the program can even be made to automatically do those things for you. When you first plug it in, you may have to do a little bit of setup, and you'll have information about that and instructions in the box with the drive. But not every external hard drive has that. Make sure to pay attention to whether or not the hard drive you're purchasing has that option, if it's something that you would like to have. Again, you can have the option to have that software built in. Those are sometimes a little more expensive, or you can just get a plain external hard drive where you physically decide what you're going to put on it as a backup. It can be very useful to have a combination of these backups going on, because if something happens to your computer, it's probably near your external hard drive. So then something happened to both of them. So if that's the only backup you have, that may not be the best choice. In that case, I would recommend having both a cloud option or the online service option, and also a physical backup, most likely the hard drive. That's what most of my clients do. They'll have a hard drive that they put things on, and they'll typically have the one that has the built-in software. They'll plug it in, it'll do a backup for them automatically. And then they'll also have a cloud service, or they'll just have the cloud like iCloud or Amazon or something like that, where they can choose what goes on to it. The service will typically do a lot of it for you automatically as well. One of the caveats to this is that the services always cost money. Obviously, you would have to buy an external hard drive. The cloud options are often free or paid, but the free versions don't have very much space in them. So keep that in mind when you sign up for one of the cloud options, or if you already have it, be sure to go in and look and see how much space you have. Pictures and videos take quite a bit of space, so you'll eat that free space up pretty fast. As a recap, today we talked about 3 different types of backups and then many different options within each of those types. The first one was backup services online. The second one was cloud services. And the third one was physical backups like external hard drives. As I said earlier in the video, you want to think about the money that you spend on these types of backups as memory insurance. I know for me, I take photos because my memory is not all that great sometimes, and I will refer back to the photos to remind myself of things that happened and enjoy people that maybe are gone now. When you look at it that way, the money spent on backups is very much worth it. If you have a question or if you've had a light bulb moment from this training, please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, or if you know someone who could benefit from the information, please pass it along to them and share the link. And be sure to subscribe with the red button below the video so that you know about upcoming videos and when they're posted. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.